Hello, welcome to Module 1. This week we are going to work with the breath. So I'm always going to give practice instructions for the week. We can call it homework. I'm going to do this before each teaching so that you understand how much time you should be dedicating to your practice that week. So starting next week, we will start each module with a short practice using the technique from the previous week. So next week we will be introducing module 2 with a short practice of working with the breath is what you're going to learn in this module. So because you haven't learned how to practice yet, we're not going to do anything today. If you are a complete beginner and have little to no meditation experience, please start by finding a place where you can sit comfortably at the same time every day, relatively undisturbed. I do discuss tips for curating your meditation space in the welcome module. It's in a video called Practice Tips. So I encourage you to aim for about 5 minutes by the end of the week. You can start with 5 minutes. If it feels like too much and you notice that the next day you're finding excuses not to practice or it's feeling totally off-putting, then just sit down in your seat and bring awareness to your breath for 5 to 10 breaths, and then increase that time by a minute or two the next day. And then by the end of the week, you should be sitting comfortably for about 5 minutes without issue. If you are a seasoned meditator, then you should know how long is good for you. But if you are looking to expand your practice to include longer sits, then you can just ignore my suggestions for the timers and use your own wisdom and do what's right for you. If you are somewhat experienced but have either lost your practice for some reason or you have just a bit of experience and you haven't really sat for very long, then please start with the same instructions that I've shared with the newbies. If 5 minutes feels like a blink of an eye, that's fine, great. You can increase your time by 5 minutes the following day. If that's too much, back off by a couple of minutes the next day. And these last instructions are for everyone. It is important that you sit at the same time every day if you can. The reason for this is that it helps build it into your routine as something you just do. This is like brushing your teeth or putting on clothes before you leave the house. So, for my personal practice, I find the best amount of time is when I don't feel restlessness until close to the end of my practice. So, for example, if I'm sitting regularly for 40 minutes and at the end of that practice, I feel like it went by very quickly, then I will increase my time the next day. If I'm sitting for even an hour and I start to get restless, maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the bell goes off, then that's my sign that this is a good amount of time for me. So, 5 to 10 minutes of restlessness when you're only sitting for 5 to 10 minutes is going to seem a lot longer than 5 to 10 minutes after sitting for an hour. So we don't want too much restlessness, but a little bit is okay because it brings awareness to these common challenges that people get as they learn how to practice. So when the challenges are not too challenging, then we don't learn much. When they're a bit challenging, then we have the opportunity to learn and grow. If they're too challenging, then a lot of times we shut down. So the experience of restlessness actually gives rise to patience and peace in daily life. That said, sometimes I sit for an hour and I'm restless the entire time. That's just something that happens. It's not uncommon and it's part of it. Not everybody is going to have these blissful states for extended periods of time every time they sit. We will practice together a couple of times in this module. I suggest that you don't count these as part of your meditation practice, as part of your personal practice. For example, you should still aim to sit on your cushion for 5 minutes every day without being guided by me. Again, this is so you can learn to practice independently. I do realize that apps and guided meditations are pretty seductive because they do require less understanding and they prevent this discomfort or feeling like you don't know what you're doing. So, to help support you, I have attached a document below this video called How to Practice This Week. This includes a checklist for you to reference. It will help you with your posture so that you can check in before you close your eyes. It will also give you a little bit of review as to what technique to use and how to practice during that sitting practice. And then you can review this before you set your timer. So this is to help prevent you from feeling utterly lost and confused. It will help you gain stability and confidence as you practice on your own. If you still feel like I don't know what I'm doing, then I'm sorry. I'm doing my best to help support you here. If you have any suggestions as to how I can do that better, please feel free to comment below this video. Thank you very much.